Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode number 121. Holy shit. It's getting up there. We're getting old, I guess. You know who's really old is Pong. You know, he's not here yet. He takes a little longer to get places these days. I think
it's cold out.
I think his hover round probably had an issue. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's cold, so it's not a battery drain.
Yeah,
faster
he forgot to put the snow tires on his hover.
The snow chains.
Yeah. So I didn't want to wait much longer, but Pong will be here soon. You know, he did run to Walgreens, like I said in the chat, to get some more mothballs for his blazer.
But did he get Bengay for his knees?
He already had plenty of Bengay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He has that. He has plenty of that in his like overabundance of it. In his nightstand.
Got an electric heating blanket to put on him.
Yeah. But you know, he'll get here eventually, I think. And oh shit, old man is here. Grandpa's here.
Grandpa's here.
We'll get to the other intros first, and we'll let the old man speak last. What's up, Jasper? How you doing, bro?
It's pretty good. Finished Gotham Knights. That game is amazing. Go play that. Finish it if you haven't. Started Lost Ark. Yeah, that's what it's called. The Smilegate MMO. Just made a character, and then show went live, so I haven't really got much into that. And playing Overwatch as always.
Right on. Yeah, I haven't finished Gotham Knights yet, and I've been crossing my fingers for a 60 frames update. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah,
Probably not. No, but it is what it is. It's still a good game. It's your actual game of the year. I saw, Jasper.
I said top 5. I don't know. Like it may be game of the year. Like Elden Ring's up there, so it's like I don't know. Picking one game's hard out of it.
Yeah,
but it's definitely top 5.
Nice. And how are you doing, Psycho? You doing good, man?
Yeah, doing good, man. I've just been actually finished my first playthrough of Cyberpunk the other night. And I was ready at the end game, but you know, you don't. It tells you if you go beyond here, you can't go back. So I was kind of trying to finish up certain things, and I just said, you know what, fuck it. There's so many games coming out. Let me experience the end game. And I was playing. That was my Nomad character, and I picked Pam Am.
You can load a save and see the other Indians if you want.
Yeah. And so I went with Pan Am this time because I was like, you know what, I'm Nomad. Let me go with the Nomad tribe, and let's see how that ending is. And great fucking ending.
Were you a dude or a chick as your main character?
I was a dude this time around.
Oh, so you couldn't have got the best character to go in with.
And but this time I'm playing as a chick. I'm playing as a chick. I'm a street kid, and once I meet Judy, I'm gonna hook up with Judy. So she could be my side bitch.
Yep.
And
be careful. That's my mom's name.
Well, not that Judy, but Judy in this game. And
I know how you feel about people's moms, so I just had to make sure we're on the same page.
Just
here.
Local.
Okay.
Just local moms. Not.
Does your mom look like Judy? Because
no,
green hair, half shaved.
No, my mom actually kind of looks like Diane Keaton.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I mean, crush on Diane Keaton.
Yeah. Well, you stay away too, asshole.
Oh yeah.
Y'all are close in age, so.
Look at that, Pong with Caitlin's mom and your mom, yo.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That would be a party and a half. Let's go.
It'd be awkward at a family reunion.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Hey, Daddy, can you pass me the salt? Pong goes for the salt.
Hey, Pong, I'm glad you got the snow tires on your hover round and you made it home in time for the show. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. It is Friday night. I am here with the bros, it looks like. We do not have a Caitlin tonight, huh?
No, she's downstairs hanging out with the kiddo tonight.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm hanging out with the bros, which is always a good thing. We had a good day today as far as news goes. We got lots of Redfall information, which was sweet. Which I'm sure we're going to get into. We got In Exile, dropping conspiracy theory type
my
tweets
God.
on Starfield, which is right up my alley.
I didn't see that one, man.
Oh, you didn't?
my
No.
Oh,
What
brother,
happened?
dude.
In
we
Exile.
gotta- okay. So in Exile, you know how they've been doing
Yeah.
videos for different games throughout
Dude,
Xbox.
they're
You
the
know,
best.
they kind of make those funny videos, about different games coming out. So they posted a tweet today saying new vid props, and then they had a space helmet, and they have a backpack with the Starfield patch on it, right? And then underneath it, they posted Todd calling Phil right now. Please stop them, right? And then they actually went on beyond that, and this is where it got good. Their next
Yes.
tweet said, "To be clear, we have no insight into their development or release schedule, but we do have the vigorous duty to make weird videos about it." All right. Okay. A lot of extra words, a lot of extra language in there, whatever. Shout out to XGamerD.
Yeah.
I don't know if he watches any of our shows or not, but he follows me on Twitter. And he posted underneath that, after I had retweeted it, he posted underneath their last tweet and said, "To be clear," in quotes, is 3 words. The rest make up 23 words. 323. Thanks for the reveal. And it all checks out. Yeah, it all checks out.
Wow.
Dude.
And there's extra words in that tweet, right? Why? But we do have the vigorous duty to make weird videos about it. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
323, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
So that was fun today. What else did we have today? Oh man, Xbox 2 actually had a Friday show. Shout out to Jez and Ran, which covered my
good.
afternoon of work, which was fantastic to hear them back again. Because I missed last week's show because they did the Sunday show or whatever.
Mhm.
And then to top it off, I caught Psycho slipping in the DMs, and he was late with news today. So my crown is back on, and I am back to being king of the news in the DMs.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, we have this little game that we play in the DMs. We post all the news every day, and if you double post something, then you get, you get the smoke in the DMs for double posting late news. And Psycho fucked up today, and I caught him.
Yeah, I love that thing we have going in the DMs. It's absolutely fucking great. Shout out to the chat already is on fire. Lots of awesome people here hanging out. Shane G hit us with a $2 super chat to get the show started. Said, "You guys see Redfall update? Sounds sick. I'm pumped." Yeah, did you see our thumbnail? Yeah, we're gonna talk about Redfall. I was listening to Ran and Jez earlier too, and they were kind of going around some of the stuff that I had planned on doing this show too. So lots of awesome stuff dropped about Redfall, and we talked a lot about Starfield last night, Pong. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about Redfall because we got this info.
Fuzzy said there's a link. Did you put it only in the Xbox DMs?
Oh shit! Yes. Hold on.
That's why Fuzzy's not.
Oh my God, Fuzzy! I fucked up. Oh my God, I put the thing in the wrong DM group. Wow. Okay, Fuzz, I'm getting you in here, bro. Hold on, man. I'm sorry.
He's like, what the fuck? I'm not on no more.
Fuzzy's like, what the fuck have I been like excluded now? Oh my God, I feel so bad.
Fuzzy's out of here.
Yeah,
dude.
fuck, man.
He's a pony anyways.
Yeah.
He's not a part of Xbox.
Why? Yeah,
Ultimate.
he needs to be in the fucking. Why isn't he in the Xbox Ultimate DMs?
Yeah, that's weird. Has that always been that way?
I think that I just now found this out just right now. I forgot.
Because
Usually we use
wasn't
the
a member
family
at the
DMs
time.
or whatever.
Yeah,
to
you're the
just-
fun
then-
spec fan.
Yeah.
is what you use.
Right.
Yeah, because he was
If you guys aren't getting the picture, we have like 10 different groups of DMs.
Yeah, we do. It's hard to keep
we
track
have sub tweets and sub fucking DMs for.
Oh, look who just popped up in our chat, the one and only Jez Corden from Windows
Oh.
Central. Thank you for the super chat, brother.
And Jez was late today because he was clickbaiting posting.
Yeah.
By the way,
shout out to Jez, who's got his own channel, Jez Games now. Also, he's hit us with a $1.49 or 149 pound juicy peach sticker. I love that, and another 99 cent pound. Is that what you call it? I don't even
Pence,
know.
99
99 pence.
sense.
Swirly drunk Jez sticker. It looks like. And shout out to J Mac for member for 3 months. It says 2023 Xbox World Order. hashtag XWO.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the
Yes.
name of their like direct type shows. You know what I mean?
Jerrold Mack.
Yeah.
Jazz, I hope you got something to eat, brother. I hope you got something to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny that they got slothed today.
Comes again.
Like at the end of towards the end of their show.
Yes.
Sloth.
But Sloth totally,
everything that
Sloth
they were
played
saying.
it up though. It was
Yeah.
awesome, and
Yeah.
because he said prediction, I will sloth them more than ever in 2023.
It's gonna happen. Lots of excitement already for this year for gaming, especially for Xbox. So I think all of our hype is founded. You know what I mean? Jez, I think this
Another
is
super
drunk
secret.
Jez because he
It
has
is.
another £5 super chat that says keep it up. Appreciate you, bro. They also had they have a new show too with they have a guest on, which is really cool. They had Lord Cognito, which Lord Cognito is amazing. So check that out, guys, too. And I think that's actually on Jez's channel also, or I know he has some.
No, I think it's on
is
Xbox
it on
too,
there?
isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Jez got some cool stuff on his channel too, so check out his new channel. Everybody here is awesome. The chat's fucking incredible already.
Yeah, Jack's lit already.
Harry Ballsack. Well, shout out to Harry Ballsack. Speaking of Harry Ballsacks, time to get to our sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped is the sponsor of this channel, and time.
Are you gonna let Fuzzy talk or no?
Fuzzy's here.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Fuzzy.
All right, just continue. Just go ahead. Sorry.
You gonna shave Fuzzy now?
Fuzzy, you get to go after Manscaped. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I think confidence is going to be king in 2023. You know what I'm confident about? Smelling like $1 million. You asked, and Manscaped answered. Introducing the brand new Manscaped Persevere Body Wash and Persevere Cologne. Talk about being clean, feeling, and smelling good. The new Persevere Body Wash from Manscaped solves all three for the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine. But in the shower, the body wash has a light woodsy scent and is infused with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. The new Persevere Cologne is like the body wash with a light woodsy scent that answers the call of the wild by leaving you smelling like a man forged from the earth. It is also cruelty-free, dye-free, paraben-free, and vegan, so you know you're in the right hands while smelling right. Use the code FUNSPECULATION for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. 2023 is on the way. The woods are here and smell amazing. Are you ready to jump in and join me with Manscaped? Again, that's 20% off and free shipping with code FUNSPECULATION. Use it before it's gone, everybody. I appreciate you all. And chat, we're going to have a fun one here talking about lots of games. But before we do that, let's get to the man that I forgot to send the link to the show to, Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, Fuzz?
No, Fuzz, not only are you not part of the Xbox Ultimate DMs we just found out, but you've been relegated to actually doing your intro after Manscaped ad. That's how low on the totem pole Matt has now put you. Sorry, Fuzz.
Fuzzy fits
That's
with the
fine.
theme. It fit with the theme.
No, it's been awesome this past week or so as far as gaming is concerned, and all the leaks of news. Like, man, I know you guys are going to get into it more, but like the whole RedFall like interview and unload and stuff. Yeah, that it's 2023 is getting started, and it's coming off it's starting off on the right foot, I guess you could say. But man, it's great to be here with you guys. Always get a kick out of being here on Fridays with you guys.
Yeah, man. Did you? I don't know if you saw the RedFall information that dropped today, but you know how we've been a little critical about Xbox.
I don't know how you couldn't, because both me and Psycho double dumped it. So
Yeah.
Psycho coming in late, so you should have seen it.
double dunking. Yeah, love it. The RedFall's got lots of juicy deets out there now, and we've been critical with Xbox, you know, with a lot of the other studios with sharing details, but this is the kind of stuff I like to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like a whole big ass reveal of stuff. It's just information about the game, right?
Mhm.
And it's already whetting everybody's appetite for this. And RedFall is sounding really cool right now. You know, I think it has a chance to be a much bigger game than we've all anticipated.
I tried to tell y'all. I tried. It's arcane.
Yeah.
The thing that cracks me up is that people still were confusing it like prior to this with, you know, Back for Blood or Left 4 Dead, and it's like they said a while ago this is going to be more of a looter shooter kind of thing, like think Borderlands and stuff like that. But heck, after the news drop now, it's pretty much going to be above and beyond what even we were originally expecting, beyond, like the looter shooter aspect and stuff like that. So can't wait for this thing to come out.
They definitely, I liked how they said that it's going to be kind of like a Far Cry. And I know how Mav loves Far Cry, so
they actually alluded to Far Cry 2 in the actual article. So they're going back to the old Far Cries. They also said Stalker and D&D were also influences on this. So
as long as I don't have to take malaria shots the entire game, I'll be happy. Right?
That's what Jez brought up on Xbox.
Oh, did he? Yeah,
he did.
They're like, I remember doing that.
Well,
and it was really
that's kind of interesting because also in Stalker you have to like constantly med up and eat and stuff because you have like energy bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get the idea. I think they were talking about more the narrative and
the open world, how the story is portrayed.
And they did say, and now everybody kind of ran with the Far Cry and were like, oh no, now we're getting a big open world. Oh god. And no, they talked about that. They said compared to modern open world games, their landmass is going to be quaint in size. That's what they said. It's just going to be more dense, is what they were describing. They're going to have a lot of stuff going on in the world, so that's really cool. Well, you're going to have NPCs, side missions, all that good stuff.
So here's a little bit of the information. Play space is unfathomably larger than Prey.
Correct.
There's a home base where you can talk with NPCs, like you're just talking about. The side quests and main quests and open free roam. Use environmental hazards against enemies and assistance from id. That is really cool, right? Because id is masters at first-person shooters, right?
Yeah.
It's just really cool with the sharing of technology and stuff. Now, obviously, this was Bethesda, which they already all had a working relationship beforehand, right? But man, I love when you hear about this stuff. Some people are like, well, why do they need help with this or that and all that kind of bullshit? But man, these games, I think, are all going to be better. And they've given this game plenty of time. A rumored release date is May right now, sometime in May. Maybe Starfield March, maybe Redfall May, and then maybe Forza sometime June, July, something like that would sound good to me. But what was your favorite thing? It was the id thing you said, Jasper?
Yeah, I'm hoping that id played more of an influential role in like getting the gunplay to feel right, because I just don't like Arcane's feel. Their games, they just feel weird to me, and I don't really like them. So I'm hoping id has more influence in that, and it will kind of feel a little different.
Yeah,
so that's what the biggest news for me out of that was.
Right on. What about you, Psycho? Anything scream out excitement to you from this information?
I mean, the fact that, like Jasper said, id working with the gun mechanics, possibly having that eerie fucking vibe, because they kind of like went in like a little descriptive, like an eerie. Like, imagine if you're just in a dark cornfield with fog just rolling through, and you hear in a distance vampires discussing, like talking of how to, what they're going to do to you, but you don't see them, and you see a
our blood
farmhouse
quota's down. We got to farm more people.
and then you see a farmhouse in the distance, and as you walk up, it's loaded with the occult, and then you have to save some people. So it's like semi-open world. So to the fact that the main story point is linear. You get, as you do quests to progress, but you can go and do anything with the side quests at any moment. What it kind of feels like, and which is really cool. And it just if they get the environment and the field down, it puts in, and it adds another layer as a character in the game. I mean, it's just amazing getting that aspect down right, because it's that kind of that supernatural feel. If they get that down and they get the gameplay, the gunplay down with id's help, this game could really be a surprise hit this year, and it could surprise a lot of people that think that this is a 76 or high 70s game. It could be maybe even higher 80s, depending on how hot, it would be 88 or something if it really to get the atmosphere and the gunplay and how the story progresses and everything. And it's co-op, so it's like then you can experience that with your friends, and it just seems like a game that, as an Xbox gamer, you love playing with your friends. That's why we're on the ecosystem, because the best Xbox Live and no multiplayer has the best ecosystem. So it's just one of those things that just screams play me. So
Yeah. And this information all comes from an interview on Games Radar. So really good stuff here. That one of the quotes I like is like, it says, "You'll want to see if you can get into a barn you found, climb a fire lookout tower that you spotted in the distance, or try and get into a house to read all the notes scattered inside." Explaining that you'll still have the freedom to approach missions, areas, and in-world locations with the same curiosity and ingenuity as you could in Dishonored or Prey. Some of Redfall's most powerful moments come from wandering around, absorbing the world, and getting caught up in high action for a moment. That was the atmosphere we set out to create from the beginning.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome, man.
It does. It does. This is what I've been saying. It's Arcane. And again, it's funny how people always forget who developers are. And I think it started with some in this community running with the notion that,
the Left 4 Dead comparisons too.
Yeah, and also because, now that Microsoft purchased ZeniMax, now Arcane is making a Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood type game, because of course they need that multiplayer for Game Pass. And that was the other great part about this interview, is they came out and flat out said, this is the game that we've always wanted to make. And it seems like this is another one of those that is getting made and is being allowed to actually become bigger than maybe what the original vision was, because they are now underneath the Xbox umbrella. They made a statement that this was who Arcane is, and that's what they're waiting and excited for people to get their hands on. And to Psycho's point, Arcane has always scored for the most part in the 80s, right? In Metacritic. Recently, they're always in the 80s. So there's no reason why this game should not be able to stay in the 80s or take the next leap if they really have done something special here. And I want to add a couple different things too that Clobrio also added. So the two distinct districts, which we talked about, Mav, and we've talked about previously here when it was first announced. So they do have the two. It's split in half. They've got the rural and they've got the urban area. Many aspects of Redfall are not predefined activities, but part of the simulated space. Day and night changes the feel of the game radically.
That's what I'm hoping for. Like going into a barn and like the sun comes in, you see like come through the woods and start burning the vampires. Like that's gonna be amazing
all sorts of crazy stuff. And it also reminds me a lot of Dying Light, right? What happens when the night comes in Dying Light? The whole game changes, right?
It does,
so
man.
If they pulled some of that, and then dynamic dialogue system of players talking to each other. Again, they built this game from the ground up as a single player experience. They added the multiplayer in addition to, obviously, not just a tack on, but something that they wanted to make special, but they also wanted to make sure that the Arcane style still was there for the single player experience. So that's why I think we're seeing a lot of these details come out. I see this game as completely right up my alley as a single player type looter shooter with a lot going on. And then if people are online and you want to hop in, help out, cool, that's great. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. I think this is Arcane going in a bigger, kind of a new direction. Not that they will never go back to their old style, but I think this is something they've always wanted to try. And the fact that they're underneath the Xbox umbrella now and given the time and resources to perfect this, bring in not only id to consult, but they also said that they had hired first-person shooter experts as well, which means they brought in more talent from that space, people obviously that had experience on first-person shooters before, along with having id come in and consult on it. Listen, they're being serious about this. They understand their weaknesses, which, again, I didn't have a problem with the gunplay. Was it, Call of Duty style gunplay? No, of course not. But I never expected that out of Arcane. But the fact that they say, okay, we're making this game, guns and shooting are to be ultra important in this experience. We have a weakness. We need to bring in some help to make sure that we're doing this right. That tells me a lot about the team. Again, the egos aren't there. It's about, hey, how can we make ourselves better, trying to do something new that we've never done before, and with a brand new IP. And I think this, again, I've said from the beginning, so I always said it, this is Arcane. I always said, listen, even if it is a Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood style game, they're still going to throw in the Arcane magic. They're still going to have mechanics that you never even thought of in those types of games. I said that they always had the chance to take it to another level. Now that we've got a much better, clearer picture of what they're going for, yeah, this is a much bigger game than a lot of people expected. This is going to be a much fuller experience, whether you're playing single player, whether you're playing multiplayer. There's still some questions to be answered. Steel always brings it up because he's not all on board with this yet. He's not an Arcane fan, and he's not on board with this per se. It's about the end game. Like, what are they going to do when you finish this?
They got to be holding something. Like, is there going to be like a potential raid? Like, you go fight some vampire bosses?
Well, we know they have the portals that lead to smaller areas. And they said that those portals I can't remember, it was one of the last dev interviews that they did, one of the big ones. They said that those were part of the end game, that you'll be able to run there those constantly. And obviously, if it is a true,
so like a strike, like from Destiny,
kind of something like that. But what else? What else are they going to do? What are they going to add to this? Are they going to drop in some big bosses? Like, what? There's so many different things they can do with this. I'm excited. I can't wait. Again, whether or not they needed the extra 6 weeks that they got, supposedly, according to rumor, or whether that was a move to get out of the way of Starfield, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're going to use that time and continue to polish this game. I'm super excited. Now, how much time I'm going to have to put into it, because Starfield's going to be hopefully there, I don't know. But this game is going to be something that lives on. And I think that it could, like Psycho was saying, if it comes out and it kind of takes the Arcane formula, but appeals to more mass kind of style, and it also has that magic, and the critics give it scores, because again, as we always say, Metacritic doesn't matter to most of us enthusiasts, but to the masses, let's be real, they read the IGNs, they see that stuff, that's how they get to know what games they should be going to play. If that does come out and score big, and they see everybody playing it, and they see this multiplayer experience or single player experience, they see these cool characters, they see these vampire slaying, which is different from zombies, which is great, it's refreshing. Maybe this is the game that actually pushes Arcane further as far as a bigger audience compared to a lot of their games.
Right now, the biggest if for me, not that it's Arcane or anything, it's just that content, like, I'm just not sure how much content's going to be there, like the longevity of that game.
Correct.
Like,
it could be play through it and be done with it.
Yeah,
like a PlayStation game, right? Except with multiplayer.
But it's just like weird because like with those looter shooters, you kind of like usually build those to like keep going. So it's like,
and I don't know if this is like, with everything they're saying, I don't know how much is built. Like, I mean, how much of it is actually truly a looter shooter? Like, we've seen.
I think most of it's just like you get a better gun, you get like a gold gun.
Right. That's what I'm wondering, how big a part of that is. But again, you're right, Jasper. Like, what do you do after you're done? That's Steele's question. What am I going to do after I complete the missions? What am I going to do with after I beat everything? Is there a reason for me to come back to this game or not? Are they going to have DLC?
The replayability could be in the fact that there's different classes and different builds within the classes. So you may be encouraged to play through the game in a different way. You know what I mean? I think that could add the replayability. Plus, I could see this being a type of game because it has the multiplayer. If the multiplayer catches, that could get this extra like expansions or content or missions down the line. Game Pass is great for that kind of stuff too, because you automatically have this large player pool that is wanting to get back engaged and stuff, and is excited about things. So I'm excited about that. Who knows? This could be. I think this could end up being Arcane's biggest game. Yeah, because the other games, they are single player and they have a beginning, end, and they are more of like a niche kind of. I mean, they're very well regarded, very well received, right? Much like
People who like them love them.
Right. Much
Let's
like
put it that way.
Souls games were, right? For
Right,
a long time.
correct.
You had like a Bloodborne still hasn't, it barely cracked 3 million copies, right? So, and you're talking about one of the most beloved Souls games ever is in Bloodborne. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But when they really opened it up with Elden Ring, that took that game to another level. And when this launches, when Redfall launches, not only will it be launching day one in Game Pass, but you'll have Game Pass, you'll have PC Game Pass, you're going to have cloud access to it as well. So you're going to have the ability for a lot of people to dive in. Plus, you add that multiplayer component to it, which is going to draw a different type of gamer to an arcane game that's never necessarily been interested in them before. Plus, people are starving for Xbox games right now, right? And being Xbox first party now, this be the first big launch that Arcane has as a Xbox first party studio with a day one Xbox game. Not that, Deathloop came out on PlayStation first, right? I think there's going to be a level of hype around that too. So this game has not just, I think, will be their best selling game, but also maybe more people will play this by far than any other Arcane game and give it a try. Now, if the multiplayer hits and it clicks, the co-op is fun, this could be a massive deal for Arcane, which has already been a surprise, like as all these acquisitions that Xbox made, and when they acquired ZeniMax, Bethesda, and stuff, Arcane was like, oh, they're part of it too. They got some cool franchises and they make good games. But man, what a good studio that's already cranking out 2 first-party games. This will be the second, actually, since acquired that actually will release, right? In just a short period of time. So I think out of all these studios, they could end up propping themselves up even further as one of the best studios with Xbox, too, if Redfall hits. And I think it's gonna. These details are getting even better. And I want to read another quote, too.
Are you going to read the Game Pass quote?
I'm going to read this quote. This is a little bit more about the mood of the game, right? Okay. This one was going around, and Kate actually mentioned this to me because I was out working, and we're talking on the phone, and she was like, when does Redfall come out? And I was like, the rumors may. She's like, man, this sounds so cool. And she read me this quote on the phone, and I was like, wow, yeah, that sounds awesome. So this quote was, "We want you creeping through a cornfield at night in the fog, hearing vampires whisper in the dark. Maybe you'll spot a farmhouse in the distance and sneak over to it, only to find that it's full of cultists and a few trapped survivors who you can save." That's the kind of vibe that Redfall has. And that vibe just sounds awesome. And it sounds a little unique, too, especially for a multiplayer type game, right? Mm-hmm. I think those Left 4 Dead comparisons can finally be put to bed now, because that is nothing like what Left 4 Dead is. And people kept saying this was going to be a Left 4 Dead clone, and we were all like, no, it's not. It's a story-based game. And they also alluded to this as a little slower pace still, because it's all on foot for an open world game as well. So that vibe has me really excited. What were you talking about with the Game Pass quote, Pong?
Yeah, they also talked about Game Pass. I was going to go back to what you were saying, Mav, because they actually specifically spoke on how they were kind of scared of Game Pass, how great an opportunity it was to be in this situation to launch on a subscription service like Game Pass, but how scared they were because of how many people instantly have access to their game. And Arcane games, again, don't normally have that many people playing them at one time. So they talked about the fact that, hey, we're going to be getting a lot of feedback all at one time on top of the potential, hey, all of a sudden, oh no, we've got more people playing this game than we initially thought. So talking about, servers and all that kind of stuff. So they were talking about how they've had to change that mindset going in now, that this isn't a normal launch for Arcane, that this is on another level just due to the simple fact that it is going to be day one in Game Pass now, and what a difference that makes. They're going to have so much more potential for people jumping on and actually seeing if they like the game and then potentially falling in love with it at the same time. And they also went on in the interview and talked about, that this is such a great achievement for the entire team, that they went through a ton during COVID and the pandemic being locked down, and that they're finally getting to like the finish line. And they got through all of it, and they talked about how great the support was from the rest of ZeniMax, from Xbox, how it got them through that time when the team was really struggling trying to make this game work when they had to, all be locked up at home. And then he said, now's the finish line. Now we just got to get this thing released. And then that's when it starts. Like that's where it's all about. So really cool article, great interview. I mean, again, this dev team, every time I've seen them interview, is really good in front of the camera or on the mic. And they really explain themselves very well. And I thought this article did a lot for Redfall. Even more so than some of the videos that we've seen, even though we've come back and said this game looks better and better every time we see it. This really kind of opened up a lot of eyes. I saw a lot of people on Twitter, in the Xbox 2 chat, all day today saying, okay, now you got my attention. Oh, you brought it in to consult on the FPS? Oh, okay. So we can probably expect some better gunplay than we normally get out of you guys. Now I want to try this out. And I think that they're doing themselves a lot of favors each step of the way towards this launch date. So hats off.
Do you think that maybe the rumor right now that it's May, maybe that's like a mistake, and maybe this could be like a March game? Like, because like we're seeing marketing for this now, so it's like it's clearly
we've been seeing marketing, and that's what Mav and I talked about last night, right, Jasper? Like, if this is the delay, and again, Jez confirmed it with separate sources, so you got to kind of believe that internally this is kind of the move. So why did they do it? Because this game's looked polished since last year. Like, as far as what we saw, it looked ready to go. So what was the actual intended date? This felt like a spring release, but did they move it because they want to get Starfield out first? Because Starfield hit their milestone, they're ready. So now they're moving Redfall so that it's got some room to breathe. I don't know, Jasper. Maybe it is.
Because it almost feels like that they maybe initially were going to have a Redfall come out first, but because of the lack of no presence at the VGAs and how they didn't have any games come out, major first party games come out in 2022. So possibly they were like, you know what? It was slated. So instead of having that come out first, and if it doesn't hit well with critics and gamers, then it's like, oh, look, another game it's another Game Pass, like have a negative note on the game when it should be positive. So maybe that delay was to give it the best chance possible. Meaning
the only reason I say that is just because like this is the first interview we've got for a Microsoft game this year. So like you would think that would be the one that's coming out next.
Because of the delay, maybe this was all planned with
maybe the interview was already lined up or whatever.
Yeah. Either that or like maybe the narrative is already out there about May, and we want to put something out there for the fans, too. But it could be either one, right? I gotta praise ZeniMax Bethesda's marketing still, right? Like their teams on these games that they've had slated are doing a fantastic job at putting information out, doing interviews without having to reveal too much. It still is raising the hype level for these games, and it's controlling the narrative, right? They're doing a good job of controlling the narrative, dispelling any kind of doubts, and instead raising excitement, which is what you should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Fuzz, is this like, you think this is going to be I think we're all excited about Redfall somewhat, but like, I do think that people's anticipation for what this game is now is starting to actually come to a reality in some sort, where it was kind of like we didn't really know, and there was a lot of misinformation out there before created by fanboys of PlayStation and stuff like that, and people that just weren't sure. But the more information that comes out, do you feel like this is going to be potentially another type pillar game that is going to kind of come out of the blue here?
I think so, and to some extent, it's weird because it feels like like you said, on the Bethesda side, their marketing is a good bit better than what they're doing for the rest of the Xbox studios and things. So you can see the confidence in the team for the game, but I kind of feel like they want to push Starfield ahead of this to some extent, and maybe it's because of how they want to, the best foot forward for the beginning of the year kind of thing. But I think this game is pretty much ready. It's just that now with the extra info that's coming out there, it's getting more people on board that were kind of like somehow mistaking this for like a Left 4 Dead or a Back 4 Blood type of game. And I think this is a good step. Now we need to see a similar step for Forza as far as a little bit more insight on it. But I think right now, and it's almost weird, like you have Clobril on Twitter doing more hyping for the Xbox title than Xbox itself, which it gets a bit frustrating. Nothing against Clobril, but it's like, come on, Xbox guys, what's going on here? Like, are you waiting for the show to really, get us hyped up about it, or is it just one of those things where they're still playing the, tail tucked between the legs because of ABK, or which doesn't make sense to me at this point. It's already a known quantity. It's coming out. We know this, and regulators should know this, so it shouldn't be anything that should hurt or harm any proceedings in the deal. But it's my hype level is already through the roof, and it was like that before even this info, because a lot of the stuff that we saw before, we kind of knew or had a pretty good idea where this game was headed. Like the whole cornfield deal, I love that aspect of it. And even though it's not a 1-for-1 for like the Division, which is the game that I probably put way too many hours into, but it has that Dark Zone like feel without the PvP or PvPvE aspect, where all right, we're just going through, the only real enemies we have to worry about are the NPCs. But the fact that you have like these spontaneous or not really public events, but like random occurrences when you're already planning on going to, let's say, a hive house or something like that, and you stumble across that barn. I love that they have that aspect mixed into the game, and I think that's going to be the thing that while they may not have a true quote unquote end game, and the replayability will be in building up other characters, but I think that randomness of just public events or events throughout the map will be the thing that'll at least draw me back, time and time again, testing different builds. All right, let's see if crowd control or some sort of like perimeter thing that we set up around this barn, if that takes out the cultists faster, or should we just burn down the barn and rush in and grab the survivors or the hostages while the barn is burning type of thing. So it just leaves it open for so many different ways to approach things, and that's probably the biggest thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's got that feel where you can kind of make your own story within the game with your friends, right? Like emergent type gameplay or whatever they call it.
Yeah, just don't go to like a strip club, because I saw that in Dust Till Dawn and that ended bad.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if Selma's in that strip club, I'm going.
Yeah, Pong's gonna risk it for Salma Hayek.
Yes, I will risk a lot for Selma.
This is dangerous in here, but I'm liking the environment right now. So we'll see how long we can last. It sounds awesome though, man. It really does.
Think about this too. If they lead off with Starfield, and again, we don't know anything, right? We're just going by hearsay. We're going by gut feelings right now. Mm-hmm. But let's just say they lead off with Starfield, and Starfield is everything and more, as Colt said on XNC, that people expected. And that thing comes out and boggles everyone's minds. And that is the run-up to the start of the year. And that leads you off. You lead off with a home run. And then you come right behind that home run within 2 months, let's say.
Yeah.
And RedFall comes out, and not, again, I don't think anybody here is expecting RedFall to score like 90s, but let's say it hits mid to upper 80s, and it becomes a really well-respected multiplayer game. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's loving the characters. The characters are all likable. Think about that, too. You could turn RedFall into a Netflix. You could turn it into an anime. There's so many different ways you can go now with that transmedia stuff. It's all set up perfectly. But think about that. They lead off with a home run. They come right back a couple months later with another home run, triple if you want to call it, whatever. And then in the chamber, you've got Forza Motorsport that whenever that drops, turn 10 is not going to disappoint.
Yeah,
even if it
that
comes out
was-
with less cars, even if the fuzzies of the world are upset.
Yeah.
The critics are still going to score it. It's still going to be right there. People are going to be going, yep, this is exactly why Forza is better than Gran Turismo. It's going to be another jaw-dropping game that comes out.
Forza Motorsport will probably be the #1 rated Xbox game this year.
Yes, it could be. It could potentially be. So think about that. You come out, and if Redfall hits, you automatically know you've got 3 home runs to start 2023 after a drought.
Yeah, man, 2023 is already so awesome compared to last year. Because listen to the conversations we're having. You know what I mean? And it's because of this excitement and hype about the games that are coming. You're right though. Like, imagine, you're right. Starfield hits, which Starfield has all the expectations, right?
Correct.
Like, there is so much pressure on Starfield being good and great and big and grand and everything that we hope it can be. All eyes are on Starfield, right? But you're right. If that actually lands and it actually meets expectations, where like some people are saying maybe even exceed them, and then you have Redfall, which is kind of under the radar because of Starfield, right? Correct. And because it's a new IP from Arcane and they're doing something different that they've never done before, and it's like there's no expectations for Redfall, right? It's a lower bar. Yeah, I feel like people have a like quality standard for Arcane, but there's no expectations on like how big this game could be or like what it has to have to be like an amazing thing. This is like a wild card. You know what I mean? That people are going to dive into, and it's like, are we going to like it or are we not? We don't know, but we're going to try it. If Redfall actually does hit and it does actually hit that bar, then you're talking about an fucking incredible year for Xbox. And thank God that they bought ZeniMax Bethesda, because imagine if they had not, right? And we follow up 2022 with this year, and the only first-party big Xbox game we have to talk about or think about is Forza Motorsport. No slight on Forza. I love Forza, but you can't race your entire year on a racing game, right? And Minecraft spin-offs and stuff like that. Right?
Forza and Age of Legends. Age of Empires.
Age of Empires, yeah. Which, I mean, we're excited for that.
We're excited.
But that's a niche thing, right? It's not going to draw the masses, you know? So, at least for console, anyway. Forza Horizon catapulted. I think Forza Horizon catapulted the Forza name to even another level. I think Motorsport's going to get more attention than any other Motorsport game before as well.
And if those 3 hit, you've solidified the year already. And then if you can actually, and then let's say, you got the Minecraft Legends thrown in there, you got your Age of Empires thrown in there. You're just, from there, it's gravy. And then if all 3 of these come out the first half and they do find a way to pull out a Hellblade 2 or an Avowed at the winter time, at the fall winter time.
Yeah, because either one of those is going to be amazing too.
Right. Can you freaking imagine being able to say that lineup for 1 year? That would be insane. All different genres, all over the place.
It'd be the best first party lineup for Xbox in a year since the 360 days.
Right.
Pretty much.
And that's the thing
on top of. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just to say that that's like the beauty of having Starfield possibly going first, really getting having this game, because it's already a juggernaut on its own, and we're hearing it's exceeding expectations, and if this game, again, we don't, Metacritic is one thing, but when it comes to the casual and the regular gaming world outside of us enthusiasts that love gaming, that's what they look at. So when you have a Starfield that is rated high, and then Redfall really
You're doing exactly what I did.
I know.
Redfield.
And Redfall hits well, and it's really a surprise hit, and that hits exceptionally, like maybe low 90s possibly, and then you got Starfield in the maybe low mid 90s, and then here's Forza in the mid 90s, because usually it's about 94, 95, around 92-ish, around there, depending on the game. But those three titles, like Pong was saying, if they just hit, and things will fall in line, and we will see a narrative shift of how things are spoke about Xbox and the ecosystem and how things are going. And then you have ABK, and that deal goes through. It's one, and literally you will 2022.
Then they'll pick up the goalpost and move it somewhere else.
Oh no. I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Trying.
if that happens, Starfield, Redfall don't count because they bought them while they were already being
Yeah.
developed. So
Mhm.
Microsoft had nothing to do with
Yeah,
it. If they hit,
but I'm just saying, like,
if they hit, if they don't hit, it's all Microsoft's fault. So, we
but
already-
2022 wouldn't be as a detriment, because 2023 hit so hard, and it doesn't, and there's no end in sight, because the progression, the cadences of games that are going to start coming out from Xbox is going to be something that it's going to be talked about. And like, man, the start of the Series X generation was kind of spotty, but man, 2023 hit, and they have not looked back ever since. And that's
Avalanche. Yep.
it's going to be, people are going to, this whole console warring and all this stupid nonsense that people love to do, because it helps their channels grow and spread bullshit. And it's just one of those things that when we see the Xbox get the praise that we all know that.
And we
Oh,
lost
okay.
Cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Left us on a
Bye, Cycle.
it left us
A
hanging
cliffhanger.
there. Yeah, cliffhanger. Yeah,
Cliffhanger.
exactly. That's what it's
Fuzzy, what were you going to say before Cycle?
No, I was going to say with everything that we expect this year, as far as those first three coming out in the first 6 months and stuff, and then what's going to wind up being at the tail end of the year, we're still going to have to make room for a lot of these third-party deals that are going to be day and date in Game Pass. Like there's still Atomic Heart, there's still Lies of P, there's still Wolong, there's still
Monster Hunter Rise.
Stalker 2,
Stalker 2. So it's like this is, I think, and yeah, we've said the flood or the avalanche of games for a while, but I think this is pretty much the true start of it. It's the pebble already starting at the top of the hill, and it's going to be a boulder before it gets to the bottom. So I can't wait for these games to hit, but backlogs are going to be a even bigger detriment this year compared to like when people were like, oh man, look, Game Pass is releasing, game after game after game, and I can't play all these games. I don't have enough time, and it's going to probably be worse this year.
Yeah, and even with all the not even just in counting Xbox and Game Pass, but all the third-party stuff out there, the multiplats.
Yeah,
like this year is going to be one to remember, right? For a long time, I think, just because of the amount of stuff hitting. This is like, I think that the pandemic dragged stuff out and it created this hole, right? Where stuff was still coming out at a kind of a snail's pace, right? But now this is like all the stuff that got delayed and delayed and delayed. Because even Arcane said themselves, this is their COVID game. This is their pandemic game. This is like the one that they developed in the middle of all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to get those games, and then the next year we're starting to get the games that were started like maybe at the tail end of that, and then and then so on and so on, and things are starting to get within the gaming pipeline more normal. But it because of how little there was for a while, it's creating this monster year here for just all of gaming, right?
Yeah.
But Xbox as a first party like platform is, I think, gonna have the biggest year, like by far.
Yeah.
And it's like the game's still got to hit. It's still got to be good, right? But that hasn't really been a concern with Xbox first party in recent years. For the games that they have released, like Halo Infinite launched to good reviews. Content issues were there for a year. That's starting to get better. Forza Horizon was excellent. Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon both won different publications Game of the Year awards when they came out. Microsoft Flight Simulator, no complaints about that. Age of Empires 4, no complaints about that. Even other studios games that came out that had been acquired. Psychonauts 2 came out after the acquisition. That won publications Game of the Year as well. Also, you had games like Wasteland 3 from In Exile drop, and that was a very well-received game. So as far as the games that have been releasing, there hasn't been any like worries about quality for a long time there. You can even look at Grounded now and stuff like that and what they've done. And then you look at Pentiment and just well-received thing after well-received thing. Now, not every game is going to be for every gamer, right? But that's a good thing, in my opinion, as well, right? Because you need that variety across the pipeline and not one genre for all your big releases, right? And that's going to be, I think, the highlight for Game Pass, too, going forward, because you got your RPGs, you got your shooters, especially after ABK. Oh, my God. Then you got, these other games like Redfall. What is that? We've really not played a game like Redfall before exactly. Pentiment, that was weird, right? As Dust Falls, that was interesting. Like Tango Gameworks has that smaller game that's coming out that we don't really know what it is right now, but Grubb's rumor was that we could potentially get a reveal of that sooner than later, right? Coalition's working on another smaller project as well, but also Gears 6 is probably in the works. So, man, you got
The problem with the
pipeline.
Redfall reviews, though, is like it's an Xbox game, so it's automatically gonna get like 3 points lower no matter what.
Yeah.
And 2, it's a co-op game, and co-op games usually kind of rank a little lower just because like there's not as much story and narrative there, so people don't like get as
But
emotional.
it's not, though. It was built from the ground up as a single player.
I get that, but a lot of people are gonna just play it because
They may, but the reviewers might play it by themselves too.
Yeah.
They might go by themselves and then find out the narrative is pretty deep because that's what Arcane does. So they might actually say, you know what, actually this works as a single player game as well, right? So that might help it a little bit, Jasper. I do get what you're saying. I
think critically it'll help it because a lot of reviewers, like when they play these multiplayer games, they do shit on them because they seem them a little. They call them shallow because the fun is only in the fun with the friends and not with the game itself, right? So within that, because Arcane's like what they do, I think that's going to help with this game. Also, I gotta hit up Jerrold Mack and say appreciate you again, bro, because he hit us with a $5 super chat earlier, and he said shout out to King Webb with the Xbox World Order hashtag XWO. Yeah, shout out to King Webb. I'm just running with it. Xbox hostile takeover team. Green ain't playing. Team Green ain't playing. Yeah.
No. What do you mean? I heard they're shutting down. I heard Phil's retiring and they're selling off.
Yeah. What is up with those off?
They just spent $70 billion, so we're gonna close it now. It's like,
man, these
like somebody said they just spent $70 billion to sell it to Sony for cheap. That's what they did.
Yeah. 4chan and sometimes Reset Era. It's like they put stuff out into existence hoping that maybe it catches fire or catches
trolls,
somewhere, but
man. Yeah, it's crazy. That one was like, I was like, got
that one was
like make it
funny.
Semi-realistic.
Yeah,
make it semi-realistic.
You had what was the other one that had just happened was with
Fable.
Yeah, Fable. Moving to Unreal Engine 5
and still coming out in 2024.
Which was like, I'm not even thinking it's 2024 and it's still in the same engine. I'm like, that rumor was so like backwards. Like, were they trying to make Q4 2024 sound like it was a bad thing? Because I'm super excited if that actually happens. But they did the whole thing like, engine issues with Unreal Engine 5. I don't really understand that. And plus, we know better based on information that's out there from people that we talk to and stuff, but like,
and we've known that there's been issues just generally speaking that this is the Fable engine or the Forza engine was not made to do an open world RPG. Of course there was going to be some complications. Of course there was going to be some learning for Playground. That's why they brought in all that outside talent. Of course all that was going to happen. It wasn't going to be just, we'll snap our fingers and all of a sudden we'll make an open world RPG after we just did a car PG because that makes total sense. No, that's not going to happen.
I think Fable Tech is going to be fine. Absolutely.
Fable Tech is going to be
yeah. Shh, you're not supposed to use that word.
Yeah, what? No,
What are you talking about, Fuzzy?
What?
Oh, you meant Forza Tech. Oh, Mav.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But you know I think the length that game is going to take to come out is purely for the sake of the fact that this is their first RPG, right?
Yeah.
And they brought in all these people from other studios, right? Now they got Eidos Montreal helping on it as well and everything. And I mean, it's going to come at some point, but I don't necessarily, yeah. Eventually it'll finish. I don't think like the longevity of how long it takes to make a game is necessarily like a worrisome thing. Based on stuff that we've heard about this game, is that it's going to look absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to do is look at Forza Horizon 5 scenery to see that, right?
Correct.
And it's more about them just figuring out the mechanics of making a Fable game, right?
Making NPCs who actually have to speak and who have to give you missions and have to walk around the world, like all that.
Yeah,
like
but they brought in like people that have experience with that, but they still got to implement that with their technology and stuff, right? So
I mean, they have to write a whole fucking story. They haven't really had to do that before.
Yeah,
right. That's why they brought in the old Fable team. They got a lot of the old Fable team in there too. To help out.
They have the old lead that was on part of Lionhead.
Yep.
I do think they still need to say something about this game at some point to get rid of these random ass rumors and narratives that get put out there, right? Because
control the narrative. Be in control of the narrative. Don't say. I saw this
even an interview, man. You saw look how we're talking about Redfall. This interview, ripples, right? He doesn't have to come straight from some big showcase video or anything like that. We talked about how the ripple effect can happen from just something like an interview. And look at all these Xbox shows talking about the Redfall stuff today. All these Twitter accounts from big people on Twitter that have lots of followers talking about this stuff, increasing the excitement for a game. And then what do we have for Fable and what do we have for Perfect Dark? We have for all these other games is just random weird nonsense that nobody knows what it is. You know what I mean? So just put something, you know?
Right. Like you said, man. Like I said, I've seen the new thing coming into 2033. I saw a bunch of devs putting out there, can we be done with leaks in 2023? All this kind of stuff. Listen, y'all.
We want leaks.
I understand from your perspective that you guys don't like leaks. But honestly, it's in your power to control the narrative. And you, like Mav just said, it's not about, hey, you got to show us like clips of every step that you're doing so that we can break it down. No, that's not what you have to do. If we had a Playground interview with one of the top devs at the Playground, whoever it was, whether it doesn't matter who it was.
Yeah, they just don't want something like the GTA situation where GTA 6 that leak. Everyone said, oh, the game looks like it's from 2008.
Right. But you want to know why that happens, Jasper? Because this damn industry is so fucking secret about goddamn everything. They need to change that. And what was funny is after the Grand Theft Auto leak happened, a bunch of devs came out and started showing off all their terrible work from when a game starts out. Like, this is what our game looked like. Well, why didn't you show us that when you were creating it? Because then the community would understand that's how games are supposed to look. Like, we all understand that stuff, but not everybody does. But even that is not like necessary. Just had somebody come out from Playground, let's say prior to vacation, right? Prior to Christmas, gave us an end of the year interview. Doesn't have to be some big, long 2-hour Todd interview with Lex Friedman. Let's just say it's a shorter interview, 30 minutes long, just answering some basic questions. But they came out there with confidence and said, listen, we're hitting milestones. We got this working on. We're really loving how Forza Tech is handling going to an open world RPG. We brought in all this other talent. If that rumor hit, nobody would have paid it a damn mind because we would have just had this interview, them confirming that they're still working on the game in Forza Tech. Like, that's controlling your narrative when you sit in silence and you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, you know that your fan base that is waiting on the game in anticipation is looking for any scrap of info. And then you have the trolls out there who are looking for any scrap of info to try to bring the game down. You get out in front of it, control the narrative, and then if some nonsense happens, everybody looks around and goes, what are you talking about? We just heard these guys. You guys are doing great. We're good. We're
But
good.
there's always going to be that one person like, no, this is new information, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't impact the way that any little leak does when you're absolutely silent. When you are absolutely secret, when the only thing you've heard is Matt Booty going, I've seen the game. It looks fantastic. I want to show it, but the team doesn't let me show it. Listen, that doesn't cover it, right? That's all Mav's talking about. Again, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Mav. I'm not asking for screenshots at every little moment. I'm not asking for any of that stuff. If you do, great. But if you don't want to do that, just a short form interview, answering some basic questions and just talking a little bit about the progress the team has made at each little step goes a long, long way to controlling all of it.
Games used to do this on their websites a lot, you know.
Fuzz.
No, it's 2023. You can show concept art.
Right? You can show concept art. Correct. See, even Naughty Dog's doing it right? Fuzz?
Yeah, but that game comes out next week, I heard. So it's like, you know.
but Factions didn't even have like a posting of the concept art. They just held a postcard up on a far away.
They just did another one though. They just did another one.
Did they? Did they have another postcard on a camera?
Yeah, no. They actually did a little short blurb with a new piece of art behind it with the cruise ship.
Do you still think that's this year, Pong?
Yes, I think in some form by the end of the year we have Factions.
I'm
not saying it's like a complete game. I'd say early access. It's going to be a games as a service. No, it could be early access. It could be one map. It could be two maps. I think they do put something out though to go along with Spider-Man 2. So I think Factions is probably the one that's closest.
Will they come with a disclaimer to put your PS5 sideways before you start playing?
The one thing that gives me like hope, or I guess a percentage chance that it will come out, is just because they have all the remastered assets that they just made. So it's like they don't have to really make anything.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I mean, that's truth though. So it's like, I don't know.
It is true. That's what Spider-Man. I don't want to go too much on PlayStation, but like Spider-Man 2, do we think it's going to be more of just Spider-Man? You know, like
fucking half Mary Jane. I'm fucking never playing that game. I fucking hated the first one because half of it was just play as fucking Mary Jane, do nothing but walk around and try not to get caught by some dumbass guard. It's like, I want to play fucking Spider-Man.
That's funny.
What were you saying, Fuzz?
Tell us how you really feel about stealth missions. Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more of the same, man. Like I said, the only thing they could do to spice it up would be co-op. If they had co-op, that would be a spice.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what they're going with for this. Right. You think? I mean, it would be a missed opportunity if they didn't, right? I mean, this whole trailer there had them both together. You know,
correct. You'd hope so.
You hope so, but if it'd probably be a single player and you can switch between the two.
Right. That's.
Oh my god, that would suck.
Each with individual abilities, so you based upon the mission, like which one you want to use, yada yada yada.
Two skill trees.
Yep.
Man, who knows? You know,
the twist is you're gonna get to play a Spider-Woman in this one.
Has Insomniac done like a open world co-op game before?
Well, what do you call them?
Sunset Overdrive.
Was that co-op? Yeah, that had co-op.
It had multiplayer or co-op kind of.
Right, I just played a single player. So
yeah, the main point of the game was single player, but you could do co-op for some of the missions.
Steel just said Insomniac came out and stated it won't be co-op. Did they say that?
Really? Oh. I don't remember that, Steel. Really? Okay. Well, I trust Steel because he's all over Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So.
If anybody would know, it'd be Steel. Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
What a missed opportunity. I don't know.
You know what's funny, Jasper, to your Spider-Woman comment? You know what I said? What my idea was for Xbox was to go get the rights for Spider-Gwen and put out a Spider-Gwen game. Right next think about it. Think about that. It would be freaking awesome.
How about Spider-Pig?
Spider-Pig, you could do Spider-Pig, you could do Spider-Gwen. Get them and just put out a competing Spider game. Like that would be freaking amazing. That would
with the Spider-Verse coming out, Sony to do the marketing for you. So it's like
exactly.
What a year we have coming up. I think it's gonna be pretty special, but we also got some other information about other games, guys. Some leaks. Talk about industry doesn't like leaks. Ubisoft has been pretty leaky lately, recently. with some pretty interesting information on 2 games, actually. One is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. New information coming out about that. And then also massive entertainment over at their Ubisoft. One of Fuzzy's favorite developers out there from one of his favorite games is, we all knew they were making a Star Wars game for a long time, but there's some interesting details now about this Star Wars game leaked from, I think it was from Tom Henderson, over on Insider Gaming. I'm trying to bring up our DMs to bring up the actual info here.
I think the Avatar one he picked up off a Reddit user though, right?
I don't remember. Was that where that came from?
I think so, because I think he links to it in one of them. It was either that or the massive one. I think it was the Avatar one.
I still don't understand the massive one though. I don't know where he got this information from. Like, still boggling my mind because the way he posted it in the article was like it was already known information.
Yeah, that's where I was like kind of iffy
like,
on the massive article, because
I was like, we haven't heard this.
We had the Twitter thing come out like the day before. It was
right, correct. Yep, that's all it was. But that was the main portion of the article. Like, that's why he did the article, was because Massive, said, "Hey, 2023 is going to be huge for us," right? So that was like the main part of the article, and then he adds this paragraph with these details that I don't remember ever hearing about. And again, my memory's not the best all the time, but I'm pretty sure I would have remembered something. And like, I went through the Insider Gaming articles, and he didn't have another article about the Star Wars game, like talking about those details. And it was just tacked on like, yeah, this is what's happening. I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden everybody started catching on because most people don't read the full articles.
Yeah.
And so then people started reading it and were like, oh, Insider Gaming says, and I'm sure Mav's going to read the details here.
Yeah, I have it for this one.
Go ahead.
This is quote tweeted from Mesa Windu on Twitter. And I'm going to click on the actual article as well. But it says, the game will reportedly feature fully customizable character that walks a path chosen by the gamer and will showcase an open and explorable galaxy. A lengthy campaign is reported as well. So that sounds pretty intriguing. I've had my bets on this as a bounty hunter style game for a long time now, thanks to a friend. But that was just rumors still, right? Speculation out there. But if this is like a big like open world Star Wars game where you can walk your own path, right? Let's say it is a bounty hunter thing, and you can walk the path of missions for either side or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think it could be pretty special. Now, Tom Henderson has a pretty damn good track record, right?
Yes, he does.
So,
yes, he does. I love Tom.
Regardless of where this came from exactly, I don't necessarily think he would post it if there wasn't some kind of truth to it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't sound like it's far-fetched stuff.
Yeah, because did you read the article?
I'm looking at it now.
It describes the universe, like you can go like multiple places like throughout the universe, and like comparing it to Starfield and No Man's Sky, like you're gonna be able to travel the galaxy. Like,
yeah,
I was like, yo, whoa, Massive doing that, really?
Yeah, that sound. I won't say it's above their pay grade, but
that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Like,
so he actually has a quote from Julian Garrity in this. It says, "We want to make it a unique game in the saga with a captivating story and set of characters that players can relate to and connect with. We want to take what is familiar and resonant about Star Wars and tell the stories of new characters who have their own motivations and stakes."
Right. That open universe, make any character you want. Like,
yeah.
See,
I don't know.
My whole issue with the deal right now.
I mean, like, that's not even like on their website though. Like, the website just says, "Yeah, we're making a Star Wars game." So it's like, you would think you would have that. It's like,
I think this came from their Twitter, from Julian Garrity, because they had made that post, remember, that said, like, Happy New Year's to you all. 2023 is going to be huge for us when the adventure.
Yes.
And that's when we kind of like, wow, this game is actually possibly this year, which we also know they're working on Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, which is probably going to be this year as well, because that's already been delayed to this year, right? So could Massive have Avatar and this Star Wars game launch this year?
I don't think so.
I
think
don't
we
think
get
so
the reveal
either.
today. Reveal this year, I think.
Yeah, the Star Wars game's
Revealed.
not coming out this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went back through Tom Henderson's tweets, and he the only thing that he said about the Massive game was back in March, where he said he had posted an article before he had Insider Gaming about Ubisoft's games, and he said, I didn't include Ubisoft's Star Wars game here because I think it's probably the furthest title from release. We're probably looking at 2025. So
maybe the reveals this year, and then we get and then we get the Avatar game this year, which is still, that makes it a huge year for Massive, so that makes sense, right?
I was just looking at the Massive one. The Avatar game was announced in 2017, so it's been in the works since before that. So that's time to come out. It's been in the works for probably 8 years now. So
yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Vaporware.
Where's Division 3 is the bigger question.
Is this year Ubisoft gets a little bit back on track though? Like, is Skull and
we get Heartland,
Skull and Bones.
We get Skull and Bones, Heartland. Do we get Heartland this year?
I don't know.
I don't know. Wasn't some of the insider stuff not as positive after this last
they had
playthrough?
changed. Oh, that I didn't hear, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Assassin's
so
Creed's
where
going to
did we
make a big
focus?
comeback for the old fans with Mirage.
Yes,
so.
Mirage.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big year for Ubisoft. Go ahead, Fuzz. What do you got on Heartland?
No, all right. So the info that I have on Ubisoft that I kind of believe is that some of their key talent that we used to know and love for some of the streams from the Division game and stuff like that, they're no longer at that studio. They've been at WB for a couple of years now. So a lot of some of the key people that were what made Division what it was are over at WB, which I don't know what they're working on at this point in time. But the big issue I have, they've been, like Jasper was saying, they've been working on Avatar since 2017. So that was like right after the Division 1 release.
They're making the collective.
That's when it was announced. So they've probably been working on it before then.
Yeah. So they've been working on that for a while. That was the game that supposedly after they had wrapped up things on Division 2 was supposed to be the next title. It got pushed a bit. COVID happened. So they
probably wanted it out with the movie and they just missed it. So
yeah. And then in the middle of all of that, they announced that they had also picked up the license for Star Wars. So it's like this year I could see the Assassin's Creed end of things kind of staying on track, because what they announced was it summer last year or was that fall of last year as far as the
late
different
summer, early
series?
fall.
But as far as Massive right now, like I know there are some people that want a rumor about a Division 3. Unfortunately, I don't think that's a possibility.
No, it ain't coming.
Heartland is still in an extended beta, and I think Resurgence just got out of beta. And the problem that I guess Ubisoft is having is that the Division fans that love parts of Resurgence would love to see that in the next Division, but there's no way of implementing that in Heartland at this point. And the only way to do it would be to make a Division 3 where it's like a persistent world, much like you have in Forza Horizon, or even Destiny for that matter, where you can see other players roaming around and you can do public events and stuff. The mobile game has that Resurgence, but Heartland, it doesn't seem like it's hitting the way they expected, because they took out some key things that are known to Division, and that's pretty much what makes Division. Otherwise you're just Ghost Recon with regular stuff type of thing in comparison, and I don't think that's what people want. So they're not getting the feedback that they were expecting, I think, on Heartland. So Heartland, we were supposed to hear something late last year, early this year. I think that's being pushed back to sometime maybe E3-ish. We will probably hear stuff about Star Wars because that's the next big thing that they have to unveil or show progress on. But I'm still wondering, when do they fully release Avatar? Like it should come out this year. I would have expected that it would have been closer to the movie, but it may be like a holiday this year, which would, I guess, be in time for DVD sales or something like that.
And the re-release of Avatar into the theaters again as well, because that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's already breaking records.
Well, they already did. They released Avatar, the first Avatar in 4K, 3D 4K.
Right. I'm just saying the re-release of this one,
June.
Avatar 2, after it comes out of the theater, they'll re-release it this holiday again, guaranteed.
They'll probably do like the Avatar 1 and 2.
Could do that
double
combo.
feature.
Yeah, double feature. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there is I don't know if you guys heard. I'm sorry for taking off topic, but Avatar 2, they have a 9-hour version of the movie, but they said no.
No
and he
thanks.
wanted to fully see render the entire movie, the 9 hours. He wanted it, and they're like, we don't have the budget. And look at it now, like, sure you don't have the
It'll
budget?
come out
'Cause
like 10 years from
printing
now
money
as
for
a
you.
Cameron cut.
It will. The camera cut, just like
Yeah.
Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings did. It'll come out as
Yeah.
the camera cut.
The
Guaranteed, it's
9-hour
coming. It'll be a
9
When they
hour
can,
fucking
when they
movie.
can
Blu-ray.
sell the
8K
physical
Blu-ray.
media for like a
Yes.
really expensive and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we
Yes.
get.
9 hours though.
9 fucking hours.
Fuck,
dude.
I'll sit through it. You know what I mean? I'll like, hey babe, today,
It's
what
gonna
are you
come
doing
out
today?
Laserdisc.
Today I'm watching Avatar 2, and that's all I'm fucking doing. You know what I mean? Just this one movie. It was already long. It was
Look,
really
he's going to be a
good.
call whatever he wants to. If this movie is headed towards the 2 billion mark, which obviously it is, he's going to be able to call his shots. They already
Yeah.
greenlit the next 3. He's good to go. Again,
Yeah.
hate Cameron all you want. The man's a boss. All right, he's done it. So he's in charge now.
Speaking
Look
of
at
this
me.
game, like
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
With the massive thing,
Yeah.
I think we might hear about that at May the 4th, because they usually announce some big Star Wars stuff there. So
Yes. Yeah. May the 4th be with
May the 4th would be a great day for it. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Massive is
well,
probably
when
trying
is this Avatar game set to launch? Isn't it earlier in the year?
it was supposed to come out
supposed to be.
last year, right? And it got
come out
delayed.
last
So
year. Yeah, and we've heard smoke that internally hasn't been good. So we'll see. We'll see. Like Fuzzy said, maybe holiday.
Yeah.
You think that late?
Well,
Yeah, because rumor
If it was
has
sooner,
it
we would know about
Cameron
it.
is not happy
Yeah.
with the game.
then that
Well-
might push it till next year.
Y'all remember the E3 when Ubisoft just had James Cameron stand on stage for like
Yes.
2 hours for their showcase and just talk about Avatar, the game, but he only talked about the movie, really, and this
Right.
was like took up their whole show, and they didn't have like anything. That was crazy.
Cameron does what Cameron wants.
Yeah. But according to this article, that Frontiers of Pandora was originally intended to release at the end of 2022 to coincide with the Avatar: Way of Water, but in July, Ubisoft announced during an earnings call that it was delayed to sometime in 2023 or 2024.
So yeah.
Yeah, the game, which has been confirmed to share the same canon as the Avatar films, will explore the western frontiers of Pandora, featuring both jungle and grassland environments. Now, there was some new interesting information that came out via a potential leak on Reddit. This comes from somebody called Hiktins, which is the snitch backwards,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And
Snitch is retired, by the way, everybody.
according to IGN, this leaker has been responsible for several verified leaks in the past on Reddit.
his post got taken down pretty quick too. So
And his post did get removed. So I'm a little nervous even mentioning this stuff that's here, but I should be allowed to say.
Read
what
it in
is.
pig Latin.
Igne to a
Obed's
air
Day.
shay air they alleged they knowledge nay of a
I mean, if Tom wrote in a fucking article, you can read it.
yeah. This is actually from comicbook.com here.
Tip 3.
So it says that the Reddit user has taken to Gaming Leaks and Rumors to share their alleged knowledge of the game's development. The original post has been deleted. But here we go. It says he stated that, as one can expect from a game where you play as a native Navi, the player will be able to tame animals and use them for traversal and combat. They say the game will have looting and crafting mechanics, which is not unusual for a Ubisoft game. Another claim was that rather than having quest markers on the map, players will have to explore areas to find themselves, saying it's less do this and more figure it out. They also said the world would be dynamic, with story progression shaping the landscape, and whether the events affecting gameplay, such as being unable to fly one's Ikran during a storm, for example. So,
are you gonna have a little kid Navi running around with you, telling you what to look for, all the secrets?
Maybe,
like
or if it's with a cannon, maybe you could have Spider from Way of the Water running around, helping you. Well, I didn't say what that is.
No names.
I can't say names. Oh,
I'm just
sorry.
I don't know the rules in 2023 anymore.
Yeah.
Kids change them up all the time. You're not even supposed to say. I saw people saying you're not even supposed to say if you liked it or not, because that's a spoiler in itself.
Is it a spoiler to say you like something? What?
Yes, because it changes the emotion going into it if you've never watched it.
Oh my fuck. Really?
Yeah, I saw people running with that. Yeah.
What? The Avatar people are blue?
It's so stupid, man. It's so stupid.
Yeah. You may or may not like Avatar Way of the Water. You know,
I may or may
not
have liked it.
And yeah. I may or may not recommend you watch that movie. It may or may not be fantastic.
Right? Oh, so stupid.
Man. It may or may not have surprises in it that may or may not surprise you very much, so that I won't spoil for you. That movie's awesome. I think that game could be better than people anticipate. Ubisoft doesn't really make horrible games. Now, some of their weird ass experiments with these free to play things that they're doing left and right and haven't been officially released, right? Correct. The X Defiance did not come out. They didn't get the feedback they were looking for, especially if they read mine. So,
every time they try to move away from that Ubisoft formula, it always bites them in the ass. So, like, we'll see. Like, do you think Avatar is going to be that Ubisoft formula where you go climb this tree? Oh, look, you open the map. Yeah. Climb this other tree. You open more of the map. Go collect that feather.
It'll be a spirit tree probably that you have to climb and like reveal things.
And you'll have to connect to. You'll have to connect.
It's
to.
You have to meditate around the spirit tree.
Yeah.
Side note: I did some quick research on Spider-Man. Insomniac did come out in 2021 and say it would not be co-op. However, data miners found data that there was potentially co-op in the code, and Insomniac also was hiring devs, looking for devs with multiplayer experience as late as this year as well. So, or last year, I should say.
I wonder if here's a thought what PlayStation could do, because didn't
Spider-Man games as a service?
Let's go. No, hold on, I'm getting to this. Didn't Jim Ryan say they're going to transition all their main first-party games as games of service games?
No, he said that they would, all the mainline franchises would eventually have some type of multiplayer experience to them.
Right.
That's what he said. Not necessarily games of service, but they would all have some type of multiplayer attached to them.
In some
way.
So that would make sense. Now, what it could be, maybe it's some extra mode, multiplayer mode, something.
I know the data mines, it said like player 2, like, and then like underneath it was like reward player 2 with the gift or whatever. So it's like
Superior Spider-Man. Yeah.
So it was like
they thought maybe
you did
a
race
game
or something, like you race each other and like whoever wins, you get the reward. Stuff like that.
So
interesting.
Will we get a Spider-Man VR game?
Oh, you want to talk about throwing up?
Throw up.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing GT7. That's already going to make enough people
That's
nauseous.
different than flying between
and doing backflips.
Steel says that's whack.
That's whack. Okay. Steel, what is this, 98? What are you doing?
That's whack, yo.
That's dope.
Shout out to Steel. Silent Cypher, shout out to Brian, hit us with a $2 super chat. Said Starfield may or may not be a video game. We won't
Spoiler.
Spoil it.
We don't want to
God,
spoil
bro.
this for you. Todd's talked too much about it, so I'm spoiling everything for everybody. I mean, it may or may not be in space.
Yep.
You may or may not be able to make your own spaceship in the
Oh, I
game.
thought you were like drawing stars in like a cornfield. That makes sense, I guess.
Right. Shout out also to Micah, member for 19 months. Shout out to you, dude. Appreciate you
Shout out to
being
Micah.
here as well, bro.
Micah.
Micah Ford is awesome. Yeah, so dude,
Bruh.
Ubisoft.
Bruh.
Here's the thing. When they have a show, will we see a Ubisoft Plus reveal this year for consoles? Because they said it was supposed to come last year, but all their games
According
got
to
pushed back.
Fuzzy, no. According to Fuzzy, it's never going to happen.
It was
now,
one of
so.
my safe bet predictions that we would never hear about Ubisoft Plus for console again. But maybe they were waiting for some kind of showing. Now, Ubisoft in the past has gotten a little leaky close to some kind of reveals or something like that. So maybe this information is coming from somewhere, right? Within some kind of interview or something that they got privy to. Maybe something's going to hit at some point. But if
I think they want to have control over their platform more than just like dropping it into Xbox and like, here you go. I think they want a little more control over it.
Right, which
So
would
I don't
mean
know.
Ubisoft Plus launching as a separate service on consoles, which they said they
Yeah.
were going to do last year.
Yeah, but I'm just like, maybe Xbox now is like, we don't want your service because we got Game Pass. You're going to be a competitor. So it's like, you ain't coming over here
No,
anymore.
because I mean, look at EA Play they had, and they.
I mean, but that's
Game
already
Pass
been
was-
in there.
Yeah, but Game Pass was the thing when this was going to be.
Yeah, but they
so-
didn't put the premium EA in there though. And Ubisoft Plus would be the premium one, right, Psycho?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's the difference.
if they go the
Vault
uh,
route.
the Vault route, kind of like how they did with Sony, so
Yeah. I mean, basically, we got all the Ubisoft games in there.
Yeah, but like Microsoft's
Yeah.
talking about this whole open storefront future and stuff, and
Yes.
allowing other
Yes.
things on different ecosystems and stuff. If that was the case, it would completely go against everything that they're saying out there with how they want to treat storefronts in the future.
But I
So,
think it comes to like Ubisoft hosting a storefront in the Xbox storefront is like, I don't think they want that. I think they'll allow you to host their games, but they don't want you to run a separate store in their store.
right, but if it was just a subscription service, right, not like Ubisoft Store, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be essentially like Netflix within the App Store for your Xbox.
I would welcome that though. I'd fucking love if Steam was on Xbox, if Ubisoft
I'm just saying, for like business wise,
storefront, EA storefront was there, like get the deals where you can. Epic
Who doesn't
storefront.
want that?
That'd be fucking great.
Any
man.
company doesn't want you hosting a store in their store. I don't know. It's like-
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
I mean,
that's
if-
what they're talking about for the future.
Yeah.
Like if they're saying that stuff, then maybe at some
if
point. this will
Xbox
happen.
wants open borders, saying that open, storefront. So I mean, what better way to have to show your message is saying, hey, we want it open. We got Ubisoft, their own store. You can access it. Like if it's like a tier, if you get a discount, if it's part of Game Pass, that you get a discount and you get the main store. You can get all those games. You just have to download it through the Ubisoft Plus store. But the licensing is red because you have the subscription service through Game Pass, and and that's possibly one way. And because I wouldn't mind seeing EA Plus if they start putting out games again. Having their main store opened up to Game Pass too. Getting games day and date. If there's a little bit extra money that you got to pay. I mean, at the end of the day, depending on how much it is where people are going to use it or not. And, so it's just, if those games are what you want to play, then go ahead and do it. And then, because I wouldn't mind because if Ubisoft puts out a bunch of games, you know, next year, paying an extra $5-10 could be beneficial, because if you're going to play more than one game, you know, it could be worth that. You'll have it until you play whatever those games and then cancel it if they don't have anything else. That's the one thing with, you know, their subscription service.
I was looking at that the other day. You can sign up for $1.
Yeah, you can sign up for $1. You know, the thing that could be holding it back is Xbox not being able to. And I know Fuzzy's got his own theories on this as well. But I was thinking about this. This could all been put on hold due to the ABK deal as well. I hate to bring that up, but because Xbox has to figure out, they would be subsidizing the cost of whatever, you know, break we got right through Ubisoft. They would have to cut that deal, and if they're going to have to concede that they can't raise Game Pass prices for the next, let's say, 3 years, then they would have to count that in there and take a look at, like, hey, can we actually do this if we're not able to raise our prices, you know, with ABK coming into Game Pass along with, you know, Ubisoft Plus and that subsidization. So I think there might be something to that as well, that they're looking at that future and going, hey, we might have to hold our prices the same for 3 to 5 years due to the regulatory bodies, and we're not going to be able. That's too big of a hit. That's way too big.
Unless they do like a la carte, the add-ons.
Yep,
that could be a workaround.
They could do it.
Yeah.
Which is what I think they would do.
Them raising the price. It's up to the customer of wanting that service. They will have to front that, knowing that it's an extra $10 or $5 or whatever it is.
Well, I don't even care if Ubisoft just offers it and I have to pay $15 or whatever it is if I choose to do that. An option's always welcome.
Yeah.
Like if there's a down month, which there's not going to be down month, but let's say Ubisoft drops 3-4 games that I'm interested in. They're all sitting there and I can pay $15 for 30 days to go try them. Hell yeah. Of course I'm going to go do that.
It's also like Ubisoft has that put out enough games to keep that service going, because they're like, right now they're removing a bunch of 360 games like off the store. So like they're losing their backlog. So it's like, are you paying $15 for 5 games in the service?
I think that's the reason we haven't seen it actually hit yet, is because they didn't have really anything much to launch last year, you know. So I think that they're so all over the place with what their vision is for their company right now, and it's like,
it's blockchains, no. NFTs, no.
It's like they announced like 5 live service games all at once, and like they put them all in like early testing and stuff, and then like everybody hated every single thing they played. And I mean, some of the cringiest shit that we've seen, like X Defiant and stuff, and then that's got reworked already at least once, and who knows, that's the one like I hope never sees the light of day, right? But
I think it's silently killed,
right?
Because I haven't heard anything recently since the last, what do you call it?
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing.
But do we get maybe like information this year on the new Splinter Cell game? Because like, I don't know, man. It's like they're
taking what they did with X Defiant and they're just going to rebrand it Splinter Cell, and that's what we're going to get now.
Don't say that.
Oh my god! Oh, dude,
Sam Fisher. If we wanted him, now he's Defiant. What?
Here he is.
It just seems
Defiant
like
Fisher.
What's going on with them? Because like Skull and Bones, like, has been delayed again and disappeared. It was finally going to launch, but then like in the last final like beta or whatever they had, closed beta before launch, everybody was like, this game's garbage, right?
Oh wow. I just looking back at the X Defiant stuff, their most recent thing is their Twitter in December. They just said happy holidays, but to me this is interesting. They're going to have no skill-based matchmaking and casual play, thank god.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this game's made for Jasper. Jasper likes really shitty shooters that don't have skill-based matchmaking like Crossfire X. It's like the one reason you like that game. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be an interesting year for Ubisoft. I hope they get their shit together. The Assassin's Creed teams seem like they got everything on the money. They know what they're doing.
Assassin's Creed is in good hands right now.
Yeah. Far
From what we
Cry
see.
was solid, you know, like, but it seems like everything else just like, what are you doing? You know, Ubisoft massive. I like what they're working on. I mean, we kind of know what they're doing, but
you know the good news, Mav, just because you're right there. The good news is I think that if Assassin's Creed Mirage hits well and tests well, I think we could see them do the same exact formula with Far Cry and go back to the older Far Cries. Again,
Yeah.
right, and then still have like maybe do it the exact same way they're doing with Assassin's Creed. Have a smaller experience like the older style, and then have a bigger, you know, their normal kind of experience.
it's gotten
as
a little
well.
like almost too big.
Yes,
Far Cry
it
has like
Far Cry has gotten way too big.
like Far Cry 6 is
That's what she
amazing,
said.
but I can't
Yes,
even make a fucking dent in that game whenever I play it. I feel like I'm playing it for hours and I'm like, what did I even accomplish right now? Not
Correct.
like hardly anything.
What's funny about the Skull and Bones thing is I just saw a trailer the other day called Corsair's Legacy. It's a ship game where you like shoot cannons at each other, and it has boarding, so you can board ships and have sword fights. So it's
Oh
gonna be
really?
better.
Oh weird. You mean
Comes
like
out this
actual
year.
pirates? Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, Calypso Media is coming out with a turn-based pirate game too. Isles of Tortuga. It looks freaking fantastic as a strategy type pirates game. They got a lot of competition. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, they do.
And Louis, real quick, your ideas for Starfield, yes, all of those are going to come true. Somebody will make Spaceball mods. Somebody will put critters in Starfield. All of that's going to happen.
Critters.
Yes, critters is going to be awesome. All of that is going to be a reality at some point during Starfield's lifespan.
I just want to be able to have one of those like black leather suits from the Critters characters.
Yes.
With the guy with the long black curly hair and like I'm gonna make that dude.
In like 5 years, have like a total overhaul mod where it's like a completely separate game just made in that like with all the Starfield assets. Like you have a Star Trek game just with the fucking mod.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, mods are gonna be crazy for that game. It's gonna be insane. So you kind of had alluded a little bit about ABK and stuff, Pong, and Microsoft did something interesting with this public posting again about the union stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're really being open, saying, "Hey, we said we were behind it, we are," and they actually like welcomed a union and stuff in a public posting now on their site. And there's articles that come out yesterday talking about Xbox is. I think that they think the union support from Xbox is going to do big things with the FTC, right? They hold a lot of weight, and this is maybe the wild card that they checkmarked a long time ago to make sure this deal goes through. And people that were like, why would Xbox or Microsoft do all this, right? And I even saw people like, oh, maybe Microsoft isn't going to be all in on this thing. Maybe they'll back away and stuff like that. Microsoft has always been, somebody even said, if this doesn't close, Phil Spencer is going to resign. It's also, that was a comment on.
Oh, he's resigning anyway at the end of the month. So, I mean, we don't even need to talk about this deal anymore.
If Phil Spencer resigns or like ever retires, whatever, it'll be on good terms. I'll tell you that 100%. But I feel like Microsoft as a company is 100% in on this thing all the way on ABK. They wouldn't make the biggest acquisition in Microsoft history if they weren't all.
They would have
sold
already
on
made a
this.
return on investment with Call of Duty and all the fucking mobile games if they went through. Like,
They
as soon
wouldn't
as
have
announced it.
allowed unions into the entire company. They opened the door for unions in the entire company of Microsoft if they weren't on board with this. They wouldn't be talking about all this open ecosystem and cloud stuff for the future and everything if they weren't all in on this thing, right? And according to all the stuff that's been going on with the FTC recently, and now the delays, the CMA, EU, it's all added into the confidence this deal is going to get closed. Me and you talked about this quite a bit yesterday, Pong. I wanted to get some of the other guys' opinions on this too. Like, our thinking was that this delay from the CMA was actually more of it's probably negotiation going on right now, and them talking and figuring out these remedies or concessions or whatever.
And it lines up with the EU timetable now more so. because
does.
Microsoft wants both of them at the same time, so they can present one, basically one sheet of remedies for both of them and get them both
Right.
to approve at the same time.
So what are you guys thinking? Like, Fuzzy, do you think this is gonna get closed still within that June timeline, possibly, with what we're seeing now?
June, July. I think it starts wrapping up in June and ink is dry by July. Like you and Pong were saying yesterday, I think a lot of this delay has to do with they did make a dent or an impression that has gotten them to at least look at this stuff a little bit deeper, to the point where, all right, now they're all sitting at the table talking about, okay, well, maybe like you said earlier, holding the price on Game Pass, or possibly any of the other deals that were offered to, like with Steam and Nintendo. Is Sony talking to you or answering your calls, kind of thing? So I think this is just basically to get everything in lined up without rushing to judgment, because I think the last thing that they want to do is make a rush decision to have it come back and well, at least on one of them, come back to fighting them in court. I think with the CMA, I think there's a little less leeway where it's almost like you appeal to them and they could still shoot it down. But I think the EU, it still kind of follows almost like our system, where that there's going to be a higher court that they won't really want to screw around with if they mishandle this or something to that effect. But I don't think the delay hurts it. I think it helps it, because it just allows for a resolution to be brought forth and move forward from there.
That's probably what caused the delay, in my you know what I mean?
If it passes in the UK and the EU, like they're gonna give the FTC one more opportunity to be like, hey, do you want to drop this? And if they don't, then they're just gonna be like, fuck it, we're buying them here anyway. So it's like,
they pretty much said they're going to, right? And then
they'll give them one opportunity to get it like under the law, but it's like after that, it's like, fuck you, we're doing it.
And the other interesting thing was they retracted the whole statement about being unconstitutional, right?
Mm-hmm.
With their procedures and stuff. Now I've seen some people saying that maybe they're doing that because they're starting to have discussions with the FTC, right? And the FTC is starting to cooperate a little bit, which also came out that FTC has been approved to start talking with Microsoft about concessions or remedies and stuff like that. So, Psycho, is this something that you think is positive right now with what we're hearing?
Yeah, if you listen, I actually was watching Destin's video about this, because he kind of went over it, and he was kind of going over other, I think, other lawyers and other people have stated what they thought about this, and it was everything was like positive. It was a good thing that he was hearing, because of delaying this, so this way they can meet up and have concessions for the EU and the CMA at the same time, instead of doing one. And then if let's say because CMA was first, so the CMA wanted one set of concessions, and then let's say EU had something kind of different, and this way they don't go back at it and redo everything all over again, the process. So this way now they can both sit at the table, like, listen, this is what we give you all our information, this is everything we know, what do you have, let's break it down, let's what is reasonable, because you can't have far-fetched wants and desires to really put in for concessions, you know what I'm saying? Like lifetime Call of Duty being on PlayStation. That's just not reasonable. It's so, just don't do that. Certain things that, Microsoft is, we already heard they're willing to put it on PS Plus. Of course, Sony will have to pay for that, but it's open that, hey, you want it on the service? we can do that for you. So we know that there's things that are there. So hearing that, that the CMA delayed it is not a negative. It's just another step. So instead of having 3 steps to get to to point C, now they just have, they're like, okay, because the EU was June 11th was their final report for regulators and what they found. And so having the CMA at the 25th, that gives, them a couple weeks right there, because they have up to the June 26th. So in June 11th, if the EU is ready and the CMA is ready, they can have talks and say, this is, they can come at Microsoft. This is our findings. This is what we would like for concessions. And if they're reasonable, they could say, okay, those are reasonable. We can abide by those, and let's go forward. And then that puts the FTC at a stance that, because they do not want this to go into a federal court. They do not want this in front of a federal judge, because as we have heard from other, the DOJ representative, the other lawyers was like, there's no case. This could very easily be laughed out of the court, and they don't want that another tarnish like that. So if they can come up with the concessions, like, look, we made we made it Microsoft. We put we had concessions there, because we ever heard Brazil, no concessions, and Saudi Arabia, and
well, I don't think anyone's looking to them but be like, oh, they
no,
didn't
I'm
say.
just saying that
Yeah.
they're no concessions, and now this FTC, if they want to put a feather in their cap, for whatever reason, they can say that, oh, look, we stood up the big tech and said, hey, we made them have concessions in their in this deal, so yay for us. It's good for consumers. We're helping the consumer. It's just a fucking political fucking shit fucking clown show anyway. So to really see, I don't see any negative out of the CMA delaying this. So it's a really good video. Destin Lagera, I think it was just a couple days ago. It's really good. He really breaks it down, and I think he's the only one that actually put out a video of that report that came out about it. So it's really good, and I don't see any issues right now. So we just gotta wait till June right now for the EU, because they said, because he did read that March is the initial, what was it? I think the findings that they had to start.
The EU, or are you talking about the CMA?
The CMA.
The CMA is March is all remedies and everything have to be in by the end of March.
Yeah, and then
they have
final is the 26th.
Final report is by April 26th, and the EU is May 23rd or something like that. I can't remember.
But
EU is a final report.
I kind of anticipate a period of quietness until around that time, because I think this is the FTC's going to be waiting for this also, and I think that Microsoft's going to be waiting to present anything to them really until they figure out the CMA EU. And now we're in this negotiation phase between Microsoft and the CMA and the EU all kind of together at once, and whoever is first probably on their deadline is mainly who's the main focal point probably, and they're probably not going to hear a lot, I don't think, until those remedies are actually decided upon, right? And I think we'll have a little bit of a drought on that, but instead we'll start hearing some more gaming news and some
I mean, once the
games
start coming out, people will stop paying attention to a lot of the political bullshit with it.
Until there's something
Yeah.
big, until there's
Yeah.
something big that happens, until
Yeah.
either EU or CMA, or maybe if everything goes the way that Microsoft wants it to, they'll be able to announce that both of them come to early decisions and say, hey, everything's been on the table. This is our decision. These are the concessions we've agreed to. And if that
Yeah.
happens, that's when Microsoft turns around and looks at FTC and goes, your call.
Yeah.
We're all in. Go ahead.
Yeah, because that was the deadline. They don't necessarily have to wait
don't
that
have to
long.
wait
Yeah,
you know,
because they didn't make any junctions with when they sued. So there's like so many things that like they want to block it, but yet they didn't put an injunction. They didn't do any of the normal things to really solidify that they want this to just be killed. It's one of those. It's like the delay tactic that hey, hopefully Microsoft walks away.
They were hoping, Psycho, that the EU or the CMA
would come out and say no.
Come out and say no. So they know they have the time frame because they know Microsoft won't close over the top of it while the EU and the CMA are still deliberating.
Correct.
So they were just hoping that one of those two or both come out and deny it, because then all the cards are in their favor at that point. And Microsoft would have to seriously consider walking away if both blocked and they didn't have any recourse. So that's what the FTC is betting on, but they know ultimately it's probably a losing bet. But that's the time that they had, so they didn't have to go for the injunction right now. So
yeah,
Yep.
and
Probably just gonna start sending some money over to those people over there across the
well,
pond.
you saw that deal that Microsoft made with the UK's
the Wall Street Stock Exchange, or whatever.
Stock Exchange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens. Funny.
Yeah. But and that's the thing. We and it's interesting. All this is coming out with it's just crazy how Microsoft acquires. Yes, it's the biggest acquisition in gaming history, and it's just funny that they're. We all knew that it was going to be really scrutinized, and if you notice, during the whole fucking phase 1, there was like a lot of this talk. Phase 2, dead silence, because after their research and actually having sent down with Microsoft from the EU and the CMA, they're like, oh shit, where is all this? Where's all this? The issues that Sony is having, we don't see that. We see what everything they were bringing talking points. All their talking points is what they're doing. So it is just funny that I wonder if this could be a backlash, because showing that if Sony being possible, what is it? I saw they were like 70% market share of something. I forget what it was. But
I think what you're talking about is if you take the Nintendo out of the equation, then Sony makes up like 70% of the remaining.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then they were talking about how that there's like almost like a monopoly, so that could actually backfire on.
And we know that the FTC took Nintendo out of the equation and said that they're just not a premium console.
But I think that 70% was probably the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, over there.
And it'd just be funny to see that backfire on the Sony. So their next acquisition, they're like, oh no, we got to really look into this, because you're the market leader. And then, and it'd just be funny that it gets fucking delayed.
Well, Sony can't make a deal of this magnitude, so
no, they can't.
No. But if they want to do CD Projekt Red or something, because they need that GOG.com for their PC side of things. Like as Fuzzy has been stating,
it's not good for any of the industry, and I think that's a big takeaway. If the regulatory bodies come down on Microsoft, it changes how it changes the perception of the gaming industry, because if they're going to start judging things this way and they're going to start going up and beyond what the normal rules are and making these arbitrary decisions based upon their feelings or crystal ball reading, then it changes how the gaming industry as a whole has to do business going forward. And what does that do for the industry right now? Because again, you have acquisitions during a contraction period and during expansion periods. And right now it's an expansion period for the industry. It's a healthy period of the industry. This is not an unhealthy one. This is not an industry that's falling apart, and that's why you're seeing contraction. You're seeing expansion. So does that limit, some of the future of the industry, because companies like Microsoft can't go and make these type of acquisitions, and Sony even has to be worried about other acquisitions, as these regulatory bodies now have a much better knowledge base about how the video game industry works and what does that mean for the future. So that's why a lot of people are pissed off about this, and that's why you saw the other participants, the other companies, the Take-Twos and the Nintendos, you saw them go, no, this isn't a problem, because people don't want to see the regulatory bodies start looking and scrutinizing this industry right now. It's not good. Real quick too, Jason Max, just to answer your question about the CMA later this month. Yeah, it's either the end of January, beginning of February. They have a period, a window there where they will notify everybody of their provisional findings and possible remedies if required. So that's when they're going to do their initial findings and say, this is what we found out. This is where we see the problems and what type of remedies we think could fix some of these concerns. And so we should hear from the CMA either the end of January, beginning of February. For
right. Okay.
So, yep.
Cool. Well, we still have 110 people hanging out for this show. Everybody, if you like the content here on the channel, hit the like button. Appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. Share this out. If you're not subbed to the channel, hit the sub button. We'll hopefully hit 3K at some point this year, and maybe we'll shoot for 4. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited for this year. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun gaming talk with actual games. So this will be a little different than last year, because I think there's gonna be so many things to talk about with news. I think some people are anticipating potentially on Tuesday there being an Xbox Wire post about this game show, or what Jez called could be potentially, and speculating maybe a direct size type event as well. You're on mute.
Pong.
Did you hear all that talk today on Xbox 2, by the way?
I was listening while I was out working.
Yeah,
still,
you were
so
in and out, right?
I was in and out, and I only caught parts of the conversation. But
so Jez and Rand both think that. Well, I mean, again, this is all speculation. This is not any inside knowledge, according to them. Again, you never know with those two, because they do play these word games. But whatever.
Yes.
We'll take my face value. Rand and Jez said none of this is actual. They don't have any inside information, but they both feel that Microsoft this year is going to go the route that we all said they should, not only with a direct style type showings, but a focus on the next big game coming out, much like a state of play. So like your Starfield, you're going to have a Starfield show where they blow out all the information on Starfield, give it its proper spotlight. They're going to do the same thing with Redfall, do the same thing with Forza. They think that this is the year we see Microsoft go to this. And Jez was answering, well, not answering, but the questions were brought up about his tweet yesterday saying all the things that he's heard about Starfield are lovely. People were asking him. He said he wasn't going to divulge any information, but he did say very sneak. What he said was, you won't have to wait very long to see what to find out why I said that. Is basically what he said.
Yeah, I kind of expect something like that Age of Empires show. I think that Age of Empires show is like a test run of like a format that we could do that.
Correct.
Yes. So I think this direct, I think we get some Redfall in there just because we get a release date and stuff. But I think this direct, if Starfield is the first, if it is going to be March, April, whatever time period you think it's going to be, if it's going to be the first one out the gate, I think this show could be heavily focused on Starfield. And we might see that big spotlight. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh,
Starfield is one of the most important games ever to launch on Xbox.
Yes.
Period. point blank.
Period. And it potentially could have one of the biggest impacts that we've seen ever for Xbox. Potential.
Most important first party game for any platform this year. Potentially.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because Nintendo's established, Switch is on its way out. It's on the downward trend. Zelda's going to bring it back, but do they need Zelda? No, they've already sold a bazillion Switches, so it doesn't matter. Spider-Man 2 is going to be big for PlayStation 5, but is it going to do any more than they've already done with their PlayStation 5? Probably not. Starfield's the game that could push Xbox forward, push Game Pass to new levels, obviously along with all the rest of the content as well. But Starfield could be that lead dog that pulls them into this generation and lets them start taking the lead in a lot of these areas. If Starfield,
I think the biggest place Sony's hoping for is VR. So they're hoping that takes off more than
Correct.
anything.
I can't wait for the hype and excitement around the Xbox community the week of leading up to the launch of Starfield. It's going to be a fun time, right? And then knowing if
marketing starts ramping up, Mav,
seeing it everywhere
yes.
they do, which they will be everywhere.
Yes.
And then following that up, like we said, if Starfield is the first to launch this new era of Xbox, following that up with Redfall shortly after that, and then Forza shortly after that, and then have their big E3 showing where they reveal maybe 1 or 2 games coming out for the holiday fall season, and then showcase next year's games.
Jez thinks we see Avowed this year, so
really, we see it.
We see it.
Right.
We see it.
Wasn't there a rumor like a couple weeks ago that was kind of like where it was like it said it was going to be delayed by like 2 years or something because of the switch to Unreal?
The latest rumor was that Avowed got pushed to 2024 and Hellblade's coming this year. That's the one I saw. So,
okay.
But Jez believes that we see it this year for sure. Which means
I remember they had changed supposedly some stuff, and there was a new vertical slice that had been put out there, and some people had seen that, and they thought it was more impressive than the previous stuff that they saw, the little glimpse that we had seen before.
They had gotten further with the new vertical slice than they had originally before the Switch, right? Whatever they did, scope-wise or whatever they did. So it was a much better look at Avowed than previously shown. So
Obsidian, I have utmost confidence in. It's like there's really no concerns with what Obsidian can do or what they're going to produce. So
yeah, but back to your point, Mav. Yeah, you're right. If the role that they're going to be on, if they are hitting these marks, and then on top of the showcase, whether shortly before or shortly after the ABK deal closes, my God, man.
And it's just the other thing to be excited about is we know there's like 1,000 games that they have to announce, like Compulsion's games, In Exile's games, id's games, like just
all of the known projects.
All the published projects, the contrabands,
well, if they do a direct,
if
they do a direct for every game, they could just end it with be like, and our next game is this, and just like end it off with like a quick trailer. So just like, this is what you're looking forward to next month. Here it comes, and then they have
like that one more thing type deal. Yeah, that definitely would bring up the hype, and then that would generate so many more people. Can't wait for the next Xbox little.
I was talking about not like next game like 3 years away. I'm talking about like next game.
No, the next game launch. Like if it's Starfield, gets a spotlight, and then all of a sudden you end the show with a new Redfall trailer with a launch date and say, stay tuned for more, and all of a sudden, then you get.
And that just brings up hype because then people are like, oh my God, now we're gonna know about this game. So people are like, okay, the next game, here's the fucking direct, and we're gonna watch. And so it really, it's good
cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger cycle, just like TV shows, right? It's
exactly, and that's the thing, and to really spread the word to the casual market and the because again the enthusiasts were already sold on the console. It's the others that they're trying to get into, so that really expands the brand and expands the ecosystem, and it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, a spotlight on the. Think about this kind of direct real quick. I know we were trying to get out of here, but a spotlight on the big game, right? Whatever game's coming next, spotlight on that. Small Game Pass, sizzle reel of all the Game Pass games coming out within the next month or whatever the case may be, right? And then you've got maybe like a smaller game like the Tango Gameworks that we heard from Grub, that smaller project like reveal. and then a coming next Redfall. Here's a release date. We'll see you soon with another one of these shows. Like that would be awesome. That would be just fantastic.
Yeah. Man, what are we're in store for? This is the first. Yeah. This is the first show of Xbox Ultimate for 2023. And I expect lots more awesome shows in the future. Lots of stuff to talk about. The chat's been absolutely amazing this show, as they always are. Appreciate you guys. Man, Redfall's looking like it's going to be fucking great. And my hype level for that is getting higher and higher the more we hear. But let's get everybody out of here and let people go and play some games Friday night, right? Fuzzy Belvedere. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed too. Fuzzy Belvedere, amazing one since I screwed you over so much at the beginning of the show. We'll get you out of here first on the outro. Appreciate you, man.
So he wants you gone early too.
No, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh man, it was fun being on here with you guys, and man, this is going to be an ultimate year. So glad to touch base with you guys on what's up and coming, and looking forward to what hopefully we'll get some news early next week. I think we might wake up to an Xbox Wire, they'll surprise us type of thing. But man, if anybody wants to hear my rambles on anything gaming related, just find me on social media, Fuzzy_Belvedere. Tomorrow I'm gonna be on Shop Podcast with Pong and PTK Plam. And who's our special guest? Is it
Doom Cutie, all the way from Australia
tomorrow? So
yep.
Yeah, it should be an interesting show. Man, a lot of fun. And then during the week, or the following week, you'll see me on Xbox Lunch Break Special, Double Barrel Gaming at 12 noon. And then later that evening, you'll see us on FSP. Me, Mav, Jasper, Psychonauts, maybe 3-Bit, and man, just a lot of fun talking about games. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this channel, and then Friday morning, 10 a.m. Double Barrel or Breakfast with Boom on Double Barrel Gaming. Once again, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then right back here next Friday night on Xbox Ultimate at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to it.
Right on, bro. Thanks for everything. Always, Fuzz. Absolutely love all your takes. And I promise we will have SP next week. Migraine or whatever be damned. It'll happen. It's been too long.
At least add them to the Xbox Ultimate chat, would you?
Yeah, I will. I'll make sure that happens. my bad. Psycho, tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Chat, guys, we're amazing tonight. Thanks for coming out. Awesome to be in the new year, having the first Xbox Ultimate chat podcast, doing having a fun show. And yeah, sorry, I smoked you for just a little bit ago, so
I can't tell. I never know, Psycho. You've been doing great, bud. You've been doing great. Keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me everywhere, Psychonauts, where you can hear my fucking stoned ramblings on and on about crazy things and whatnot. And yeah, thanks for everyone. See me on FSP on Mondays, 10 o'clock, Fridays here. And that's it, because I've been working and stuff,
smoking.
so I can't do the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of smoking, dude.
Right
Thank
on,
you.
bro. Hey, thanks, Psycho. Jasper, lore master himself. What about you? What you got going on?
Yeah, I might be on FSP. FSP Monday night 10 o'clock. Fuzzy, he already said that if we have it this week, like Mam said, we might not. I don't know.
No, we will. I said I promise.
And then, I guess my whole intro is already fucked up. Psycho confused me. It's supposed to say Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. That's where you can find me. And then Xbox Ultimate is Friday, 10 o'clock.
Right on, bro. Thank you, sir. Tomorrow I will be on a show. It has not been announced yet, so I am not going to say exactly where, but you'll see me somewhere tomorrow. Also, Monday, like I said, promise we will have FSP and at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And we will also have PM in the PM on Thursday next week. 7 at 8. Wait, 7. Psycho's fucked everybody up here. At 7 p.m. Eastern time. Next Friday. Are you okay, Pong? You're distracting the fuck out of me. What's going on?
I? Oh, that's weird. It's weird. I would have normally said PM in the PM myself before you, but you're saying it first tonight. I don't know why that is.
Oh. I was wondering why you're giving me those looks. I'm like, fuck. I fucked you on the outros like I fucked Fuzzy on the intros. Let me do another Manscaped ad read real quick before we get Pong out of here. No. Pong's.
Let's see if Pong can get through his outro correctly this
right. Let's see if I can do it first.
Yeah,
all right, outro
Pong,
time, everybody.
Let's go.
All right, let's go, everybody. Great show, brothers. It was awesome to be here with you guys. Obviously, we got a lot of laughs going on. Got a lot of good talk, too. This is going to be a great year. What a way to kick off 2023 on Xbox Ultimate. Chat, absolutely freaking amazing to see over 100 people in here consistently, just like we do on PM to PM. It's crazy. Fun Speculation is blowing up, as it should, and we appreciate all of you, and I hope the start to the new year has been freaking amazing for each and every single one of you, whether you're listening live or whether you listen to the future. So listen, Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. You guys all know that. Tomorrow morning, set the alarm, set the reminders, bring a friend, tell a friend. We are on mission 3K over on Living Split Screen. Steel set the bar last week. Extra special high. So we got to hit big numbers this year. So need everybody's help. You guys have all been amazing. We're almost at 700. We're going for the big moonshot right now in 2023. Living Split Screen tomorrow morning, 3+ hours. Be there 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Steel and I bring the energy. So grab your cup of coffee. We'll just add a little bit extra to it. And we're going to have a great talk tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow night, like Fuzzy said, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel, myself, the man of the show, PTK, of course, is going to be there. And then Fuzzy and Doom Cutie, like Fuzzy said, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. Be there. PTK is breaking 1,400 subscribers now. So that is freaking awesome. And then, of course, next week, it will be, I might have a show Tuesday night. Stay tuned. I haven't got confirmation yet, but Tuesday night, I might be somewhere cool. But then Tuesday afternoon, Xbox Factor, I won't be there, but you got to show up for Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. All good things green. Like I said, stay tuned for Tuesday night. We'll see. And then Thursday, of course, back at it, PM in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, right here on Fun Speculations channel with me and Mav. Go watch our show last night. We had a good time. Go watch 2 shows ago if you want to hear all of our crazy predictions for 2023. We've got a scoring system that Mav put into place somehow. We got bonus points. We don't know how it's going to work. We got the ultimate prediction that just wins everything if we pull it off. Like it's nuts. So go check that out. Otherwise, golden age of gaming is here. This year, the Avalanche starts. We know that for a fact. Avalanche is starting. We're going to have tons of game coverage, and you need to get out there this weekend. Play what you love what you play, enjoy it, and I'm going to talk to you all real soon. Now, Mav, hey, what do you got going on?
I said half of it already, I think.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
You got up to
Thanks again, Pong. Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be somewhere. Monday, promise we'll have FSP, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And Thursday, we will have Thursday we'll have PM in the PM at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be back for Xbox Ultimate at next week. We will probably be back at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a guest lined up for next week too. I'll announce that later. But because of that, probably moving it back to 9 p.m. Eastern. But also going forward, maybe going back to that. We did this 10 thing for a little while on Xbox Ultimate. But I think we'll be probably switching back, maybe full time after next week, going back to the regular time. But yeah, look forward to that. I'm excited about the guest next week. And hey, in 2 weeks, Pong, we got an awesome guest coming on PM the PM too, and I'll tell you about that later.
Cool.
Not next week, but the week after.
Yeah.
But yes, everybody, thanks for being here. You all are amazing, and Xbox is going to kill it this year. And we got a super chat right before I was about to say bye.
Oh, of course it's Vik The CLiCK.
He always comes in with that last second super
He's
chat.
at the bar. He's at the bar with the last call.
Yeah.
Right here.
Vik The CLiCK just hit us with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Vic, as always. Says, amazing way to start this year, especially when we got all them good news about the games coming out. Cheers, guys. This shot is you guys. Dude, enjoy it. I want to know what's in that shot. Is it whiskey? Tequila? Is it tequila? It's probably tequila, right?
Tequila or rum. Yep.
Rum, vodka. What's the drink of choice? I appreciate you, Vic. Everybody, you rock. Have a good 2023. Let's play some fucking games this year. And hey, remember, stay smooth. Peace.
Manscaped. Fun speculation.
Let's go. Bye.